2 years ago, the typical Southern Nevada house sold for $470,000. Last month, it sold for $490,000. 2 years, $15,000. You didn't miss anything. I'm Eric Hudson. I've helped over 100 families buy here in the Las Vegas area. 8 neighborhoods today with homes under $500,000 in Henderson and North Las Vegas. 4 each, and the honest drawback of every one. One of the 8 I talk about almost every week. It's the one you would pick first. So, is $500,000 a good budget in Las Vegas right now? Short answer, it isn't a starter budget here. It's middle of the market. The middle priced house in Southern Nevada sold for $490,000 in June. That's the median, which just means half the homes sold for more than half and half sold for less. It comes from Las Vegas Realtors, straight off the multiple listing service, also known as the MLS if I say it again. So $500,000 doesn't put you at the bottom of the market. It puts you just above the middle. Here's that math spelled out for you. June 2024, the middle price was $475,000. June 2026, $490,000. Subtract and you get $15,000. Divide $15,000 by 475 that you start with, that's about 3.2%. Spread it across 2 years, that's 1.6% a year. 2 full years of this market added roughly 15 grand to a typical house. That's the whole run-up we've been afraid of missing. And sellers have more competition now. At the end of June, 7,147 single-family homes were sitting on the market with no offer at all, up 2.2% from a year ago. At the pace things are selling, that's about 3.5 months of supply. Meaning if nobody listed another house today, it would take 3.5 months to sell everything already out there. Under 3 months, sellers have the upper hand. Over 6 months, buyers do. We're in between right now and closer to your side than we've been in years. Houses are sitting and sellers know it. What does $500,000 actually buy out there? Honest answer, buys you a different house depending on what side of the valley you're standing on. In Henderson, $500,000 mostly buys you location and an older house. In North Las Vegas, the same money mostly buys you a newer house and possibly a longer drive, except for those who may be stationed at Nellis Air Force Base. That gap between the two cities is the whole reason this video has 2 halves. What can you actually buy under $500,000 in Henderson? Whitney Ranch is the shortest run to the strip on this entire list, and it also has the oldest houses on it. Both of those are true at the same time, and that's the trade. It sits on the west side of Henderson between the 515 and Boulder Highway, mostly 90s and early 2000s, stucco, tile roofs, real yards, and of the few Henderson pockets where HOA's dues are low or, better yet for some of you, non-existent. You can still find houses here under $500,000. It's one of the quicker runs to the strip from anywhere in Henderson, and it's the long haul out to Nellis. Schools are Clark County school districts, and ratings move campus to campus. So look up the schools your exact address is assigned to, not the ones closest to the neighborhood sign. What most agents won't tell you, you're buying original roofs, original HVAC, original water heater. On a house of this age, at least one of those 3 will come due within your first 5 years. So you need to budget for it or possibly negotiate for it. Green Valley North is the opposite trade. 80s and 90s, mature trees, sidewalks that actually go somewhere, minutes from the district and Green Valley Ranch. You can still find houses here under $500,000 and you'll pay more per square foot than almost anywhere else on this list today. So you get less house for the same money. The schools are a big part of why. The drawback is simple. You're paying newer house money for an older house, and you're paying it for the address. That can absolutely be worth it. Just know that's the deal. In Cadence and in most newer communities on both sides of the valley, you're not only paying HOA, you may also be paying something like a SID or a LID on top of your property taxes. Fortunately for Cadence, It's the only master plan community, one of the very few that doesn't have a SID or a lid, but in general, always watch out for that. Here's what that SID or lid actually is. The city borrowed money to build the roads, the sewers, and the street lights in those master plan communities. The people who buy homes there pay that loan back a little at a time through the tax bill until it's all gone. So you could pay cash for the house and still owe for it, unless you pay that SID or lid off early, which you're allowed to do, which for some reason the city doesn't like. So the real question was never the sales price, it's the monthly. Take the mortgage payment, add the taxes, add insurance, add the HOA, and add the yearly assessment, if there is one, divided by 12. That's the total number that you actually need to live with. Two houses with the same price tag can be a couple of $100s a month apart once you do that. Ask for that SID payoff amount before you even write an offer, and it should actually be on your MLS sheet. If your agent doesn't know what you're asking, that can be some information for you too. Cadence sits in the East Henderson area. Brand new houses, or no, nearly brand new houses. They've been building out there for a few years. Some only a few years old. You got parks, you got trails, you got a community center. There are schools inside the community, but while it's still being built out, it's almost complete. Not every section is assigned to them, so confirm the assignment for the address, not just the community. Its drawback, lots are small and parts of it are still going up, so plan on dusk and truck traffic for a while. Sun City Inn, I'll keep it short because for most of you, it's already off the list. It's age restricted, 55 and up. If there's a spouse under the line or kids at home, stop there, no matter how good the price may look. For everyone else, it's one of the best kept communities in Southern Nevada. Low maintenance homes, big rec centers, golf. There's no school conversation here for most, and that's the point. It also means that when you go to sell, your buyers can never be a family, especially with young children. That's a smaller crowd bidding on your house, but it sometimes is a crowd with money so they can buy the house. Now we cross the valley, and this is the half I'd stay for. North Las Vegas has the widest gap between reputation and reality of anywhere in this metro, and it's where $500,000 goes the furthest. Is North Las Vegas a bad area? That's the question I get on a whole bunch of relocation calls. Short answer, North Las Vegas isn't one place. So the question doesn't have one answer. Here's the long version, and it won't satisfy either side. I'm not handing you a crime statistic I can't source to a primary agency. I pulled several before sitting down to record this, and while they contradict each other badly. So I'll tell you what I actually know instead of what I could Google. What I can tell you how the city is laid out. It runs from older neighborhoods near downtown all the way up to brand new communities on the north edge that were barely dirt 5-10 years ago. These are miles apart, and they're not the same buy. A citywide crime average tells you almost nothing about the street that you may be standing on. So walk the street, walk it twice. Once on a Tuesday morning, once on a Saturday night. That's free, and it beats any statistic I could quote. Matter of fact, maybe I should do that. Have a little street walk demo. Just go out someplace and it's like, here's Tuesday night or Tuesday here, and here's Saturday night here. Look around. What do you think? I think that's a good idea. Somebody comment below if you would like a series like that, where I go out on a Tuesday during the day and a Saturday night so you can see what the neighborhood is really like. Aliante is the most established master plan in North Las Vegas, and it is the one most likely to feel like Henderson out of North Las Vegas price. The Northwest Corridor, built around a golf course, homes slightly mid-2000s through the 2010s. Schools out there established rather than under construction. The drawbacks. Aliante sits at the top of the North Las Vegas range. So under 500, your options narrow fast. And you're a long way from the Strip if that's not where you work. But if you're at someplace like Nellis Air Force Base, even Creech Air Force Base, it's actually a very good choice that a lot of people make. Valley Vista is newer. So on the north side, mostly houses and builders put up in the last several years. Modern floor plans, open kitchens, small yards. Expect an HOA and probably an assessment on top of that. Two drawbacks here, and I'd weigh the second one a little bit heavier. Retail services are still catching up to the rooftops, and in fast building areas, school boundaries get redrawn. So the zone you buy in may not be the zone your kid graduates from. The Villages at Tule Springs is at the far north end, and the houses out there are the newest on this list. Builder incentives on some phases have been aggressive. Ask hard about schools out there. In the newest phases, kids can get busted out of the community until campus is open. Hold on to that one. I'm going to come back to it. Eldorado. I want to start with a warning because this is one that costs people money. Conditions vary block to block out there. More than anywhere else on this list. You'll find beautifully kept house next to one that's been a rental for 15 years. Listing photos, they don't always show you that. Drive the streets yourself before you tour anything. Do that, and Eldorado is the best value on the list. 90s and early 2000s, off the 215, school zoning is settled, and that cuts both ways. No boundary surprises and no brand new campuses either. One more thing on this side of town, and it matters if you got orders. If you're PCS in the Nellis, moving here on orders, geography is doing you a favor in North Las Vegas. Nellis sits on the northeast side of the valley. So every neighborhood I just named is closer to the gate than anything in Henderson. If you're headed to Creech, you're running north on the 95, now I-11, which starts from this side too. Ask somebody in a unit about FedVan. Talk to your first sergeant. They'll have that information. There's that FedVan between Nellis and Creech before you buy a house around that drive. And if you're using a VA loan, zero down is the headline. But the VA funding fee, which is a one-time charge rolled into the loan, and that yearly assessment are actually moving your payment some. Run those two together, not separately. So which one is actually right for you? Young families sometimes look at Cadence or Valley Vista. New construction, parks built in, and you're not replacing a roof in 3 years. In all honesty, those tile roofs, they're 50-year roofs. More than likely, you'll be replacing a few tiles and not the entire roof. We have a lot of roof issues here in Vegas because of, one, the sun, and two, the wind, which is a whole different video. Just put the HOA and any assessment into your monthly number before you decide what you can afford. The remote workers. Look at Green Valley North or Aliante if your commute doesn't drive your decision. Buy the older neighborhood with the trees and the restaurants. Aliante gives you a similar feel with newer houses for, a little bit less money. My military commuter with orders to Nellis, look at Aliante, Valley Vista, or Eldorado. Just minutes to the gate, and it's worth some real money in your life because of that. Take your BAH with dependents, your housing allowance, and subtract the full monthly costs, mortgage and taxes and insurance, the HOA, and any assessments. Never forget that assessment. And look at what's left. Nevada has no state income tax for those of you who choose Nevada as a resident, especially my military movers. So your take home does a bit more work here than it did at your last duty station. Run that before your orders drop, or especially before you get them in hand and before you start your house hunting. And the one I talk the most about is the Villages at Tule Springs. It's the newest and it shows the best. That's exactly why people pick it first, because it's the furthest out. Services may not be there just yet. And the school situation is unsettled while the assessment sits on top of the HOA. You can watch families fall in love with the model home and then spend the next 2 years with that extra time in the car. If you work from home, that's a great answer. If nobody in the house commutes daily, drive it at 7 in the morning before you sign anything. Not at noon, not at 7. If you want all of this as one-page short list with current numbers filled in, the link is in the description. And of course, as always, I have one of them QR codes because I do realize a lot of people watch on television. Send it to yourself. Drive those 8 neighborhoods with it in your hand and cross off the ones that don't fit. So we're talking about being able to do it yourself with no fluff and no hype and just the truth, because we want to make sure that the math works for you. I hope that this video was helpful to you in looking at the different areas around North Las Vegas and Henderson today for good neighborhoods for under $500,000. If you need to reach out to me, my information, here it is in this QR code. Also have it in the pinned comments down below. As always, to my military brothers and sisters, I'm going to end this with Alpha Mike Foxtrot. The majority of my audience never served, and I appreciate that you come here to see this old man. As you know, we're always going to keep those lights on for you because we love you. And you know what? Right now, YouTube is saying that this video that is popping up somewhere here is the one that you need to see the most. Can you do me a favor? Can you meet me over in that video? I would love to see you there, and I can't wait to meet you in the next video.